Hey, Mike. Whenever. Welcome to our next stream at the 2017 Australian Ultimate Championships here at the Gold Coast. We've got Sydney Rogue Rage versus Bauhaus. My name's Stefan van Boxtel, bringing you the game. Coming into this game today, Bauhaus has played 2 games, taking Cisco 14-5 and then going down to Ellipsis 15-6. Rogue Rage lost 13-12 to GWS Blaze, followed by a big win, 15-2 versus Cisco. So there's mixed results for these two teams. They've both had 1 loss, 1 win. Big game. Nail into the handler who throws that away, unfortunately. 87 picks up the disc. Parsons looks in the end zone. Fires Balassi. It's an early score and it's an early turn. That's the start Rogue Rage is after. Big from Bauhaus here. They would expect a bit of a bounce back. I'm not sure if there was a touch on the disc. Doesn't matter though, because it's reeled out the sideline. Looks like Stevenson bringing the disc back in. Malin reeling that disc. Sorry. Wrong name. High disc up. Gets poached by the defender. Sprague with the disc in hand. It's a powerhouse of this team. She's going to have a lot of disc in this game. Chong chasing that down. She pulls it in. She reels up the back end. Oh, and an incredible effort from Rock there. Thought she had that one, but it bounces out of the hand when she hits the ground, unfortunately. It's a big play. Mihaj has to pick up the disc. Rock with the disc in hand. Apologies, I'm saying rock. I meant so an area. Welcome into the commentary box, Rob Swan of Brunch/Bench. Welcome.
It's great to be here.
Now, you're a Sydney sider.
I am. I'm also was recently the coach of the Division 2 Rogue team, so...
So you're fairly familiar.
These are my ladies.
Mihash with the disc. She finds Shuwei. Shuwei to Baker. Mihash, a lot of handler touches so far, not much downfield, but she goes there, goes big. And a fantastic take in the end zone. It's just outside the end zone though, but pops it in. And that's 1 each.
This is going to be a tight match. The Bauhaus Rogue rivalry is one that's gone on for a while. They're both very elite teams, and Rogue's one of the dominant women's clubs in Sydney, and Bauhaus has, a long history of being dominant in Melbourne, so it's a good matchup, this one.
Yeah, it's one that pops up every tournament, SMO, not regionals, but BCI, all those.
Yeah, all the big national tournaments.
Yep. Love to see it, and I'm not sure how their last game went. I'd have to look it up, but I'm sure it's a good contest.
Speaking of Sydney powerhouses, this Rogue lost on Universe Point this morning to GWS, so they're looking to be a strong contender coming into this tournament. With the way the draw is structured and the way the teams have been looking throughout the season, there's a lot of parity. A lot of teams real close to anyone's trophy.
Yep, so GWS Blaze, they're a new team to me.
Yeah, so there's just sort of been a little bit of an opening, I guess, of the past couple years in women's ultimate in Sydney. There's sort of enough room for a second Division 1 team, because Rogue has traditionally had 2 Division 1 teams they do this tournament. And yeah, there's sort of room, and GWS has just found all those players, pulled them together, and clearly made something that works.
Right, yeah.
Shires with the disc. Centers to Rock. Back to Shires. Finds C. Ooh, and it's turnover.
All right, picking up the disc, bringing it to the center. Gear to... Is that...
Just a little bonk off the hands. Rock with the disc here. Finds Dawson, recently selected on the World Games squad. Dumps it to Shires. Parsons. Back to Shires, recent coach of the silver medal winning Barramundis. Ooh. And that's a call on the field. Looks like a different effect. Jones with the disc. And that's Dawson in the end zone. She is fast.
Yeah, it's a great achievement making that World Games squad. It's I really like it. I think it's an exciting team.
The World Games team is always a super exciting team. There's always a lot of stuff. It's so difficult, right? It's 14 players, 7 men, 7 women, and it's super difficult to make. And one of the interesting things about the World Games team is that because you're only allowed so few players, everyone sort of has to do everything, right? You don't have the full, 22, 23 players of a World Championships roster where you have specific roles, specific players. Everyone's got to be able to do everything. So you've got to be the best to be on that team.
Absolutely. It's a real testament to those players, because it says that the selectors say, hey, you're valuable to us on offense and defense. You have a role with us.
Absolutely. And Dawson is going to be one to watch this game. I think she's going to be a key player for Rogue. Other World Games squad members, Michelle Phillips on Bauhaus, number 17. Phenomenal player. Has been one of Australia's best for a long time. Will also be doing a lot for Bauhaus.
Mihash with disc in hand. She looks wide. She finds Stevenson. Disc is returned to her. Again, it's a zone thrown. There's a wall or sorry, a cup is defense. I can't see much. But the throws goes down the line, finds a little bit of space, and they've got some time now. Down back to the safe hands of Karen Baker. Mihatch finds Stevenson. They're moving it across the field really well at the moment, using their space. They've taken their time after the first couple of points. Mihatch following up her good work down the line. She wants to get it off that line, and fair enough, so she finds it.
It's a lovely break.
Yeah, Maylin, who has the vision. Fantastic. She didn't see the space there, but she does.
Right, showing her class, right? That's the wind, as you can sort of see from the flags on the far side of the field, is basically coming from the far side directly towards the camera. So that was basically straight up wind, and it didn't look like it wavered once, I think.
I've played a lot of social league with Maylin, and every time she's the most trustworthy person on the field. You know exactly what you're going to get.
That's amazing. And I think that is going to be one of the key indicators of the quality of a team this weekend, of how strong their throwers are. It's a little bit gusty here, a little bit windy, but by no means game-breaking. I think if you can control the disc and work it well in the wind, you'll be really setting yourself up for success.
For sure. I think we've seen mixed results in this field. I think earlier your game was very offense dominated, in teams that weren't able to do their offensive skills got punished. Later on the day, we've seen a lot of turnovers. Teams not adapting to the wind.
Yeah, and I think like our afternoon game was just a different game against Newcastle. It was a lot of like huck it and play D. So a lot of focus on playing defense there, and the win was challenging. And I think that's going to be really the theme of this weekend. These fields are the ones that traditionally host the Gold Coast Uni Games, which will be on later this year, and it's always windy all the time.
Yeah, but I've played a couple up here every time.
Rock receiving the disc, centers to Spragg, a reserve on the World Games squad. To Chung, to Rock. Back to Spragg, to Chung. Facing down this zone, it's Spragg, to Rock, to Chung, to Dawson. Looking safe, Parsons in the middle. Rogue working steadily against this. A lot of action behind, to Rock, to Spragg. Ooh, Parsons a tight one in the middle. Everyone's okay. And, it's a hand on that.
Disc down,
Dawson
Birchall getting
it,
the first
down.
tap, following up her work. And I think a little bit, fortunately, not landing in the lap of the player.
Yeah, really great presence of mind by the Bauhaus player to keep at that. It was bobbling in the air a bit.
Throw around to... Now that is unusual to see Maylin Chua take her eye off the disc there.
Spragg picks up, sends it to Parsons. Rogue have just been gifted the disc here. Should really need to capitalise. To Spragg, to Chung, to Dawson, to C. Off to the races here. To Spratt. And that's a turnover.
That's a clean drop.
Yeah.
And
get it breaking through that zone. Gives you a lot of space to run and move. You just can't get ahead of yourself.
Yep. Disc moved on to Maylin Chua. She's trying to find some space. Cox returns it to Maylin and puts it up in front of the player who doesn't make quite the end zone there. Who's
knocking
that?
On the door.
Cox is right there. Could she have gained the extra metre? Oh, doesn't need to. Pops it over.
And that's a classic one. Right knocking on the door, coming from behind the handler space with the speed.
Yep.
Just get that safe dish. Spragg with a layout. Close.
Scores 3-2.
Yeah. So it's 3-2. It's a 1-point lead. It's almost what you would consider not really a lead.
It's borderline, yeah.
Yep, everyone's been sort of holding their offenses, I guess, or an equal number of breaks. Rogue's going to come out on offense here and look to put it in.
Yep. I've seen a mix. We've seen match defense. We've seen zone. They'll try a couple of different things, see what works. What affects the team with this breeze? Does it affect them having to throw the arounds into the breeze? That's something to think about. Thank you very much to Rob Swan for joining me. He has to leave. Game to play.
Might be back later this weekend. Stay tuned in. This is going to be an exciting and very dynamic tournament. Interested to see just how quickly Brunch wins.
Good luck with your next game. It's a contested disc. There was a hand in there from the Bauhaus player and the Rogue player, 75. Nicole Shires from this angle looked like she was obstructed a little bit. Foul called. Contested disc is returned. Connor dumps that disc. It's a crowded unders area. Again, that Bauhaus defense is shutting down the space, but they find the space right through the middle with the swing. See Shires. It's a high disc and there's a contest, and it's disc down. No call. Bauhaus has the chance to break here, take advantage of their 1 point lead at the moment. Parsons with the run through, foul called on the throw. Okay, Baker bringing the disc back in to Mihatch. I think I have the pleasure of being joined by Rob Swan again.
Sorted out my lift. C with a block. Recently played with the Firetails in London. Finds Shires. Sends it long, looking for Jones. What a great throw. Hasn't got a lot of options, but also doesn't have a mark. Finds O'Connor. Parsons strong out of the stack. O'Connor striking up. Oh, and finds the window.
That's a tight gap. It was brave, but she hits it. So
it's good to score goals, but I don't know that that's how they want to be running their offense all the time.
Rob, are you saying they shouldn't try and score? Goals are pretty good.
I think that's one of those offenses where the players are happy to get a score, but the coach is shaking their head.
Yeah. And look, sometimes you get those, right? And points are points, and points are good, and that's how you win the game. We can always do better, but that was not bad.
It's a great thing to tick over, even if you're not playing your best at that stage to get a point. To win games, especially when you're not playing your best ultimate, that's the follow-on. Yeah, it puts you at a good stage.
Exactly. If you are playing sort of okay and still scoring points and winning games, then that's great. Then all you have to do is play well when you get to the final. And I think Rogue might be playing okay, scoring goals, but they haven't won this game yet. It's 3-3. So that's the kind of stuff they'll stay in it. And I think what we'll start to see in the next sort of 2-3 points is a bit of tactical adjustment once the teams have worked out what each team is looking for, trying to find something that can stop it and generate a bunch of blocks.
Spot on. We've got two experienced coaches who are going to be watching closely. Gia following up her work there. She's wanting to get off the line, but
A run through D
Ooh.
from Chung. Read that perfectly. Spragg picking up the disc. To Rock. Back to Spragg. We'll be seeing that a lot. Shires. Finds Dawson on the inside. Big marks by Gia. Shires again. Dawson with the strike up line. Looked off. That's good safe play. And that's Lamb with the goal. Lamb actually a rookie on this Rogue team. Impressing in her first year. So for those who have not watched a lot of Streamed Ultimate, the people in the yellow shirts currently standing at the end zone corners are game advisors. They're here to assist the flow of the game, keep it running as smoothly as possible. Their opinions are not binding, and they only give them when they're asked by the players. So they're very helpful and very good, but they're by no means, a referee or anything.
I think we have the privilege of this game. We have Ruben Berg, who's leading the game advisors. He is wearing a microphone on field, so any conversation that he's part of, you're able to hear.
That's amazing insight. Ruben is also the head of the Wolfdorf Rules Committee, so he does this job for the world. Spragg pulling for Rogue.
Disc is stopped, and Stevenson picks up the disc. Baker and grabs that straight back. Shuwei running through the middle. And it's a juggle, and it's down.
Tough throw. Chung with the disc. Against a backhand force, that's C. Looking to the middle of the field now. She's got O'Connor around. And that's a great block.
Yep. Fantastic run through from Sullivan. Great mark from Mihash as well. She had the pressure on. I think it was in the Spirit hands. Nice and easy. Baker to the open space. Can't quite see who scored that. Easy as you like.
And that's 4-4. That's sort of like get a block, one pass, punch it in, is the kind of defensive offense that you really want to be seeing from these high quality teams. And I think there'll be a lot of that. I think turnovers like that are going to get punished more and more later in the game. We're going to be looking to clean up that dump set. Can't afford those against a high quality opponent.
Absolutely,
like Bauhaus.
yeah. But, no, they've let them back in, let Bauhaus back in. So they've got to go earn their offense now and follow it up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if any of these teams is able to take it away and really take a few points in a row, because they're trading at the moment. There's a lot of game left, but if this keeps up, we could be down to the wire.
So they're long games, this tournament, full 100 minutes. How are you feeling? Have you played 2 today?
Yeah, we played 2 games today. It's been pretty good. We have a squad of 21 boys, and it's doing pretty well. It definitely, the long games are really good. It means that it never feels like, oh, the game's about to end and we've got a small lead.
Yeah.
You always have to be grinding for more. As Rock picks it up, sends to Shires. Looking a bit static. Finds a Rock again. Oh, great low flick to Dawson. Spragg again. Rock. Goes wide to Shires. Finds Longley in the cup. Back to Rock. Rogue have made good ground here. Spragg. Rock again. Spragg again. Gaining meters every pass. And that Shires with a goal.
You hear those same names a lot with this offensive line.
Yeah, and I think partly that's due to Rogue having some really star players, and partly due to the defense that they're playing against. Bauhaus were putting on a sort of a zone with a lot of players around the front of the disc looking to make Rogue pass it a lot. So there was a lot of handler movement, but they were able to gain reasonable meters, 2, 3, 4 meters on each one of those passes, and that just walked it down the field. I think it was only one upfield shot to Dawson, and that's just absolutely stable handler offense against a zone from Rogue. Like, that's real class, if that's what you want to see for their longevity through the rest of the game. And that's 5-4. Yeah, it was 4-4 and then Rogue just scored. I mean, sure. They do both say 5-4 at the moment.
Yeah, following on those long games conversation, I was it's curious to think later on this game how it's going to affect these girls.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're playing 3 games today, which is a big step up on 2. But the Nationals format does give a lot of time for rest compared to a tournament like BCI.
Fantastic follow on from Karen Baker there. Did not give up on the Macon from Mihatch. So it just swings over to the downwind side.
Rogue also playing a zone here. 1 lady on the mark and 2 helping around.
Maylin struggling to get off that sideline, but finds Mihatch.
And that's a turnover. Rogue with a really short field. They're just out front there attacking brick mark. Shires with the disc. Finds O'Connor for the dump. Shoots a laser that's just past C. And they're looking to set up their zone again.
Shuwei picks up that disc. That's that floating player in that wall, making that dump very hard. But that is a high flick around. That's going to be a take and a half. Sullivan isn't able to bring that in.
Yeah, like that kind of throw, difficult, not a lot of options, and it did come right down on the player, but that's such a hard catch. That disc is coming in so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Shires finds Parsons. Just over the head of O'Connor.
This point looking a little bit messier than previous points. It's going to be who can punish it really at the moment. Shuwei, disc in hand, finds space to Mihatch. She's working very hard this point. Goes to the open handler. Finds space in the middle. Minchan. Shuwei, disc in hand. Baker. They're crammed in on this sideline. They'll be wanting to get off there. That cup is keeping them there. Can Mihatch break out now? She doesn't need to. She can go through. Finds Baker. Wanting a cross. She engages the dump. She wants to get it out. That stall count's got to be getting up there now. And that'll do it.
And that's close, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, Rogue with a few easy turnovers there. Bauhaus did well to push against that dome, but it did look like they were struggling. Again, so the wind is coming directly towards the camera and us here in our beautiful commentary booth. And yeah, so the players will want to have the disc on that far sideline with those flags because that's going to let them take strong shots, safe shots. As they get closer towards where we are, they're going to have to pushing them up into the wind, which is going to make those shots challenging. So as much as possible, they're going to be wanting to throw from the high side.
To be honest, I wasn't sure how they were going to break it out there until Mihatch spot the gap.
Lefty,
yeah.
Very sneaky. Some lovely throws. It was that little, I think it was that flick between the bodies of Jones and C that managed to shoot it through. Really made it difficult for Rogue to play defense there. And we're back at a tie game.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. Seen another close game here. We've seen a couple already. It's been fantastic. We've had 3 quality games in this field. And I know we had a couple of universes or close to on the other field as well.
And that's good. I mean, like I was saying before, that's that parity, right? This is the premier tournament for Ultimate in Australia. And the players here are really showing their class. This is Phillips here with a pull, World Games member, returning.
Phillips yet to make an impact this game, but I'm sure she will.
Ooh, and that's a bad miss from Rogue. They're going to have to bring that disc in on the cone, which is the weakest position for them, I think. Rock with the disc. Oh, finds Sprague past a bidding Gia. Boyle on the sideline. Finds Chung. It's a good dump. And that's Longley. And Sprague. And it's Welfare. And that's a foul called on the throw. Bauhaus calling their forces really early. Looks like a transition defense. Looking to change into something normal. Ooh, finds Chung with a high one. Oh, back to Welfare again. Looking a bit stranded. It's got Dawson behind. Ever reliable. Sprague in the middle. Playing past some tight defense from Gia. And that's Dawson again.
That's some tight match defense.
Yeah. Gia with playing that Gia Sprague matchup is going to be a really interesting one. They're both very strong handlers, a lot of good disc skills. So I think, if either of them can sort of push the other one out of the game, it's going to be a big impact for their respective teams. But for now, Sprague making it work.
Yeah, I'll watch that SMO. Sprague absolutely dominate that tournament, I think. Women of the tournament from my point of view. A lot of disc and a lot of big throw. She really opens up the field. Probably a lot more than I see in the women's game, which is fantastic to see that big play.
Yeah. Sprague is a very experienced player. She's most recently selected on the World Games as a reserve. Prior to that, she played for the Firetails, the World Championships in London. And in between, went and played for the All-Star Ultimate Tour in the States, which was a collection of the best college-aged female athletes from around the country. And they toured the country and played the club teams in all the major cities. It was really exciting to watch. And you can go watch on YouTube, it's free. As Rogue pulls again.
Stevenson looks to Mihatch. Powerhouse so far, she's been moving very well.
We're going to match here.
Big backhand and finds the receiver. She wants to get rid of it. The pink socks really standing out there.
Yeah, and that's a break for the score. Just coming in again. That's it's okay. I think Shire's had a bit of trouble reading that disc, but well done by Bauhaus receiver to reel that in. And then just a cheeky break for the score. Both teams looking pretty confident. A few turns, but just putting these ones in. I think whichever team wants to take away this game is going to start to have to generate more blocks. Yep. Their offense looks pretty good. They're doing things, but all of the turnovers seem to have come from unforced errors or, things that were a little too difficult. If any team wants the upper hand here, they're going to have to start disrupting the strategy and forcing difficult turnovers, getting savage blocks.
I often think defense comes from team intensity. At the moment, it's fairly quiet here on the sideline.
Yeah, there's definitely sort of an aura of a calm intensity here. Kai O'Brien, the coach from Rogue, is calling the line. she'll be putting some fire in her players' faces, but I think what you don't want to get them too fired up and just trying to do too much and playing bad offense then. Defense is where you need that fire. Randa. It's supposed to be 6-6. Thank you.
That disc will be brought back to the brick mark. That pull just floating out.
Rock with the disc. Rock previously played with Fuse, the Brisbane team, but she's moved down to Sydney and is a solid addition to this rogue handler line. Francis Parsons around. Chung. Spragg in the gap there. Dawson again. Rogue with a lot of pace here. Dawson with the patience. Chung. Parsons. Ooh, there's a bit of a collision on the field.
Classic, that's the kind of commitment that you see from Tony Cox. He's always throwing a body in there.
And it's good. There's a foul called and the players will have a talk about it. That's good. It's an uncontested foul. She's competitive, respectful. Dawson with the disc. Chung on again. Facing down Bauhaus wall. Finds Rock. Chung. Parsons through the wall. Chung again. Rogue looking a little bit static as Parsons gets this dump, but their dumps don't look under pressure. Chung. Need to start doing something differently if they're going to score here. Spragg. Parsons. But they do look stable. They could do this for a while. Spragg to Rock. Back to Spragg. Starts moving this disc around. Nice flick to Chung. Back to Spragg. Really's taking control here. To Parsons. Back to Spragg. Back to Chung. And that's Dawson in the end zone. That's really good. I might have been wrong. I didn't really have to do anything differently. I think Spragg stepped it up, started dominating that point, moving the disc around, and they just worked that one in. That's kind of calm, patient offense that's going to carry throughout the rest of this game.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a slightly different zone setup, more like a 2-3-2 kind of setup, where they were happy for the disc to move across the field, trying to block the downfield. But if you've got quality handlers like that, it doesn't really worry them all that much.
Yeah, I think like a zone, generally you would consider it to focus on containment, so get the disc to the sideline and then trap it there with a lot of players around it, or force them to just throw hundreds of passes, because eventually one of them will be a turnover.
Yeah, plain percentages. Something's going to go down eventually.
Yeah, and that's the skill of this rogue offense, is to just maintain that stability, keep resetting it, because someone's going to get open. And Dawson did.
Sandra Poons, the coach with Bauhaus. She's an addition this year, I believe from Queensland Ultimate.
Shies with the pull. It's a nice one.
Mihatch disc in hand, finds Shuwei. To Baker. There's a zone taking shape. Oh, that is a forehand with some power, but it's put down long. Parsons
eats that up.
Yeah.
She's got height and speed. She'll be aggressive, deep defender for Rogue. Finds Dawson. Puts a little high. Spragg using her 5'11" frame. Puts that one a little floaty. Bauhaus with it is.
Baker picking up the disc. Not exactly sure what the intended target was, but it floated there for a long time.
Yeah, there are lots of calls from set. Maybe Bauhaus is transitioning to a more defensive-oriented strategy here, looking to throw the disc for position and then set up a good zone. It's going to be interesting. Rogue have had a good success thus far working against the Bauhaus defense.
They are
See if they can
matching
keep this up. Shies with the disc.
match defense at the moment.
Finds O'Connor on the around. Spragg in the middle. Back to Shires. Floats one up. And a lot of ladies under that, but there's a foul on the throw. And that's uncontested. Good use of hand signals. Yeah, I think Shires is a great thrower. I think that looked quite clearly like not what she wanted. She had to play it deep. Didn't really want to just send it to a pack. And we're in it. She finds Spragg around, who sends it long, looking for O'Connor. Safely taken. Rogue knocking on the door. And O'Connor sends it just past the C. It's a tough angle and a tough shot to a player that's moving almost directly away from you.
Mihatch picking up the disc.
Staring down this defense from Rogue. Looks like largely a match defense with a little bit of bracketing and poaching going on. And they're in.
Oh, it's a high disc. That's a risky disc on the end zone.
Pulled in by C. Doing well to make it back to Shires. To Dawson. Finds Spragg. Oh, and a lovely flick to C. C with a W happiness. Getting the block and the goal. What a player.
I'm really feeling like the Rogue movement is more even across their players. They're fairly confident across the board.
And that's 8-6. Rogue take the first substantial lead of the game. Take us out to half-time. That's half time. Teams will be chatting, seeing what they can do and come out. We'll take a 2-minute break and we'll see you back here momentarily at the Australian Ultimate Championships.
On. Can I say hi to my mom? Hi, Mom. It's Gio. Thanks for watching.
have 3 tomorrow. Do you have 3 today?
What's this? What's this?
I have literally no idea what that is. It's so that it can like spin around.
Yeah, that, and there's a little bit of suspension for wind blows that doesn't just like snap.
Yeah, okay.
Also for aesthetics, really.
Aesthetics.
Really?
Yeah.
Freaky.
Very interesting. Vaguely drawn.
This is like, out of all the women's games I've watched, having a strong so there was one where it was that's fine. So let's go what it is. I'll go for rain now. I feel like you're
Welcome back to the second half. My name's Stephen Van Boxdale. I'm here with Rob Swan.
How are you doing? Welcome back. Hello, Mrs. Rock. This is a very interesting game. Rogue's taking a lead out of half. Got a quick break, and now they're coming out 8-6 out of this half time. And on offense too. Mish Phillips with the pull. That's a really good pull.
Fantastic pull from Mish Phillips.
Didn't even
lands.
roll out. Chung with the disc.
That's pressure.
Finds Rock. And they're in a match defense, but there's a floating player here. As Boyle gets it, finds Parsons. And then C on the run. Back to Boyle in the middle. Finds Sonario. And there's a travel called. Getting a bit too keen and a bit too fast. That's all right.
There's a violation for something. Not exactly sure, but the disc is coming in now.
That's all right. Boyle with a disc. Dumps to Rock again. Yeah, this is absolutely a zone from Bauhaus. 3 ladies in the wall as it gets swung to Parsons. Back to Chung. Boyle. Parsons making meters, just a couple at a time. Ooh. Just past her bidding Rock. And that's that turn Bauhaus are looking for.
Baker to Shuwei. Hooks down the line and pulls the trigger. And Tony Cox a misread. Unable to reel it in.
Good effort on the second bid though. Rock walking with this to the line. And that's a foul called on that throw.
Tony Cox just took a second to collect her thoughts on that one, what she wanted, and then back to the conversation.
A little bit of reenactment going. It's always good and useful.
Uncontested?
Uncontested.
That'll be an uncontested foul, so they'll be coming in with a 0 stall, Rock with the disc, Rogue with the whole field to work it.
Michelle Phillips just man in the deep there. She's just watching the action.
Back to Chung. Rogue in their own end zone. This is Callahan territory. Chung with a... Oh, saw welfare, but wasn't open. Shu Hui with a block.
Birchall disc in hand, big around. Malin Chua reels it in. There's their score.
All right. And Bauhaus with a big answer straight out of halftime. That's back to 8-7. This is a very tight game here. This is really interesting. Bauhaus will want to be doing that again because if Rogue keep holding their offense, then they'll be win by
enough.
1. That's enough. As Vin Diesel says, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or by an aisle. Winning is winning. It could be 1 point. It could be more points. And Rogue, if they'll try and ride this 1 point. They'll look to extend it, but 1 point will be enough if it comes down to it.
As we confirmed earlier, 1 is not much of a lead, but it is a lead.
And Rogue are coming out on offense here. So they'll start with the disc, and if they do well, it'll suddenly be 9-7 again.
Now, Rob, do you know the story with Danny Alexander not playing?
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. There was talk of a bit of a foot injury that might be giving her some troubles. She's also pulled out of the World Games, having played it last time 4 years ago. So it might just be a lingering issue there. But she's certainly a great asset to the team here.
Yeah, definitely.
Coaching.
In terms of World Games, do you know who the replacement is?
So she pulled out before the
okay.
selection, so
Sure.
it wasn't a one-for-one direct replacement, but did, I guess, open up a spot on the team for someone like Michaela Dignam, perhaps. Chung finds C in the center of the field, finds Dawson, finds C again, really tearing it up, to Sprague, to C, back to Sprague. Back to Chung. And finds Sprague in the end zone. And that's what we talked about. That's that clean offense hold. That's 9-7.
Yeah, that offense has cleaned up as the game's gone along.
Yeah, I think they've worked out what they needed to do. Bauhaus are playing an interesting mix of a couple of zones, bit of match with some poach, bit of halfway.
It's just me. They either transitioned during the point or it was a very loose zone to start off with that point.
Yeah. I think it was a transition that occurred during the point. Transitions have really been in vogue these last sort of 2-3 years. It's very effective. So a transition will be where you come down in a zone or some sort of structure looking to just sort of disrupt and make them do something different, throw them off what their first option is, and then when they move it around, reset it a bit, just go into a match defense. And then play hard from there.
In that kind of transition kind of period, notice Julia Birchall is a real asset. She's very aware of what's going on around her, and she fills the space.
Yeah, in that transition period, that's when a lot of blocks will happen. And then smart players will get that done.
Gia back in the action. Disc falls on Birchall's head. Birchall finds the open Gia. Follows up her work. They're looking on that upwind sideline, trying to keep it there, keep it moving, and just the two of them are playing so far. And they put a high disc up. Mumford with the disc. Gia, a big around, opens up the field. Phillips to Malin Chua. She finds the outstretched hands of Hayley Tan.
And that's good. That's really good offense from Bauhaus. They came out at the start, as you'll see a lot of teams do, and just sort of dish it between one handler. Dish it between a couple of handlers, sort of survey the field, and then strike when they can. And the big swing from Gio straight across the field really opened it up, allowed Phillips to take a strike towards the end zone.
The score is 8-9.
Rogue still clinging to that 1-point lead.
That was a strong offense line. They were very, very quick.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of time left in this game, but eventually, I think what we might see later in this game is teams will start shortening their lines, just put their best players on, because you've got to make it happen, you know? You run through your whole team and you see what you can do, but if it's coming late in the game, depending on your team ethos and what you want your team to do, you might just have to put your best players out to force a turn.
What I really loved with the last game, Mammoth versus Outbreak, Universe Point, didn't see a shortening of line, saw their standard D-line come out. I love that trust in their players. Oh, we have an Iris on the field.
Stupid bird. It'll leave.
Is this an issue? Yes, it is.
Surely not.
No.
This bin chicken will
Play
run
on.
away as soon as the play starts. That's fine. Rogue coming out on offense.
I'm not sure he is. Oh, he's confused. Two teams running towards him. He's out.
Rock with the disc. Centers to Chung on the run. Finds Sprague around. Bauhaus in a match defense. Finds Boyle in the middle. Finds Lamb. Back to Rock. To Sprague. Looks long. Finds Dawson. Just past. No. Looks like she couldn't get a handle on that, and that's a turnover. Bauhaus will be really looking for this break here to even the game as she send it long, looking for Shuhei.
No messing around from Stevenson. She sees the receiver, Shuhei, going long. That's a great target to go to. So she's looking to get rid of the disc, finds Karen Baker. Everyone's crammed in on the open side at the moment. She's going to want to look to open up that. She finds Maylin following up.
Dawson with a run-through block. Just so fast. Chung looks up and we see Dawson deep, and that's a big disc. It's close to the sideline. An amazing attempt to toe that one in, showing great athleticism, but just wasn't enough this time.
Dawson knowing as soon as she hit the ground then, she was, nope. So that's fair play from her.
It's great spirit.
Love to see the replay on that one and see if she was in. Mihatch opens up the field, finds the cutter in the middle of the field, in and out of the hands.
Sprague with the disc. High one over the top to Dawson again. Rogue knocking on the door here. Sprague again. Looks inside. Oh, and that is a fantastic D right in front of Lamb.
Yeah, absolutely. Cortez getting a hand on that disc, affecting that play, giving Bauhaus another shot. They really want this offense. They've got the turn. Now they need to punish it. That would be a real game changer. Mihatch walking to the line.
Sprague with a layout block on the first pass. Rogue now with a super short field. Can they reward that block? Chung with a disc. Finds Boyle on the inside. Couple of turns, but Rogue managed to get it back thanks to some great defense and put it in on D.
Ooh, all right. We've got a big ask here for Bauhaus.
And I think that might be it. I think Rogue might just be looking to hold this 2-point lead. I don't think they want to change anything here. I think they just want to hold it out for the victory. Really depends how much time is really left in this game. Yeah, and they started at 3, so we're at 62 minutes in here.
Maylin chasing that trailing disc there. She's bringing in a cup is forming around her. She just pops it over the top. No need to worry about that. Birchall tracking it down. Hands on the disc. Looks to the end zone. Big fake to nothing. And still looking on. Counter's getting on. Tony Cox barging her way through. Now she's stuck on that sideline. Yes, that is a tight gap. Oh, Jess Mumford. Again, the honesty. It's hard to tell from here if she's in or out, but she's claimed herself out.
Yeah, I think that toss back was looking for a greatest there as Shires walks it up to the cone. Finds O'Connor in the open lane. Goes around to Parsons, a reaching grab. See in the underspace, there's a pick called. Disc will go back to Parsons. Parsons dumps to Shires. Finds C again. And Longley. Longley to C in the middle. Finds Parsons coming under. In the center of the disc. Not a lot of options for Rogue. Getting high in the count. Shires resets. Hammer goes up. Oh, it's curling back.
That hammer high, blading back the other direction. Gia's throw doesn't connect.
Just pushed down a little bit of the wind. Didn't sit like she wanted, I think. O'Connor picking it up on the sideline here. Close to the sideline, but also to the end zone, and there it goes. And that's just enough of a block.
Yeah, a casual little walk-through block there. Oh, I love that Mumford's signalling down the field. I'm putting it, she says. And okay, that might actually come off. Maylin certain that it was in her hands. And then
that's all right.
herself.
Has time to take a think about it.
Yep.
Realise she's in the wrong, that's all good. Shires with a disc, goes around to Parsons straight away. Find Shires again. Back to Parsons. Back to Shires. Finds Parsons. Very contested. O'Connor squeezes one in the underspace. Rogue still looking like they need to get it off the sideline here. As O'Connor shoots the end zone again and finds only Bauhaus.
Maylin finds the disc downfield. She moves it to the center to Cox. Moves it across the field to 10. Joa to Mumford. Without any fast intent, they're just moving it fairly casually at the moment. Maylin to Mumford. She wants that open side, but there's no cut forthcoming, but eventually finds Maylin with the dump, who follows up with her good work to Tony Cox.
Ryan Bauhaus managed to push it in right in that front corner of the end zone. Take us to a 10-9 game. They're done well. Put themselves in a position here. They're within striking distance, but they're going to need to make it happen either this point or the next.
feel like the play was getting more and more frantic at that point. Teams, the field seemed to get shorter, more in and out, dodging kind of cuts. Be interesting to see if after this players settle, or if the wind is starting to affect the play.
Rogue have got another offense here. It's really important that they hold this. At this time, to drop a break here, bring Bauhaus back to 10-10, and they don't want to let him into the game like that.
That was the risk of what you were talking about before, of just trying to sit on a 1 or 2 point lead. It's very
difficult.
dangerous.
Rock picks it up, finds Chung. Finds Dawson on the run. Bauhaus in a match defense. Chung resets it to the sideline. Finds Rock in the dump. Oh, and Kim. Oh, and that's just over the head of Lamb. Bauhaus with a golden opportunity here. Rogue getting ready to play some defense.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They looked really good. It's not the time you want to turn and throw it over the head.
Yeah, and I think just a little casual. Lamb was very open, but that's not enough.
Stevenson bringing the disc back in. She's looking for a dump, but the count is definitely getting up now. Yes, it is. That's the store count dump.
Late in the count, big shot goes up. Doesn't always come off. Rock picking it up. Finds Chung straight away. Bubbles it a bit. Wasn't quite ready.
Second chance here for Bauhaus.
Rogue playing some tight lockdown here.
Andros disc D to try to find Mihatch, but no luck.
Rogue picking up again. See if they can do it better. Rock, Chung. Oh, finds Dawson in a tiny window. Finds Lamb in the middle of the field. She'll be looking to reset. Nice. Safe hands of Rock.
It's a run through D. She thought about the strip call, decides against it.
That's good, that's good. Bauhaus here, even shorter field. This is what they want. They trust their defense to get them blocks close to the end zone.
Oh, that is a hot disc there. Finds the player and tries to squeeze into too small a gap.
Yeah, that inside break, really threatening, but a bit difficult. Chung with the disc. Finds Boyle around. Lamb in the middle. Finds Chung. Finds Rock. Looks big. Finds Dawson. Perhaps not the intended receiver, but definitely on the right team. Looks into the end zone. Puts it just past a bidding Spragg. Rogue playing really well. Can't put it in just out front of the end zone.
Was that 2 huge bids in a row from Spragg?
Spragg definitely an athletic player. She's got
incredible.
a big frame. She's got big reach. And she knows how to use it.
If Bauhaus drops this point, I think it would be one that they'd regret. They've had a couple of chances upfield on a fairly short field. So for their sake, I'm hoping they put this one in.
Yeah, they do have the whole field to go here. So if they can maintain their offense all the way, that would...
Stevenson just can hand, swings it across, finds 10 to Sullivan. Stevenson swings the disc. Baker's protecting her space and reels it in.
Spragg in the contest again.
Is that Cortez finds Andres.
And Spragg with a block. Doing it all for this Rogue team. She's an amazing player, and she's definitely making it happen this game. Rogue need to play through all of their plays if they're going to make this happen, though. Chung picks up the disc, centers to Rock, finds Lamb around. Finds Rock in the center. Finds Chung on the open side. She's got Spragg deep, and she sends it. And that is asking a little too much, I think.
Yes, another opportunity with the turn. These last couple of points have definitely gone this way. Long points, lots of turns.
Danny Alexander shouting some encouragement in her team from the sideline. Looking like they're trying to cover all of these unders. So we want to stop people running towards the disc and let them run away because they don't have faith in Bauhaus' deep shot.
Which is risky because Bauhaus has pulled off a few.
Indeed.
And there's an option on. And so good reel in from Baker, picking up the waiting disc. Oh, as Cortez reeled that. She finds Sullivan. This is where they're getting a little bit unstuck. It's this follow-on cutting play. The disc down the field. Is there a hand under the disc? There's not.
Just couldn't reel that one in. Rock picking it up, finds Sonario. Looks around, puts it just out of the front of a bidding Spragg again.
Now, do they have the composure?
Bounce with a short field. This has been a long point.
Finds Stevenson. Finds Cortez across the field. On the upwind end. It's a bladey disc. That sails through the whole pack.
And that's deep in the end zone. I don't think that's the kind of offense that they were looking for.
I think the sideline's a little confused to what she was looking for there.
Yeah. Rogue taking their time. It's going to be a test of mental strength here. They need to calm down, take easy options, and they can't run everything through Spragg here. But they have a lot of players open. As Spragg gets the disc again. Sees Dawson completely free deep. And the throw's just a little short.
Sullivan just reading that a little bit better. That's all it was.
Took the position early. Throw was a bit short. Defense punished it. That's good defense.
Baker with the disc just played a big part in the second half especially. Finds Mehatch in the centre. And there's a injury call.
Rogue taking a sub. Mrs. Rock, her daughter's off the field. And it looks like they'll be bringing Shires on.
Along with the sub for Rogue, Shuwei has come on for Minchen.
Rogue on defense. Floaty one goes up. Rogue managed to get players under it. Nikki Shires last touch. Shires with a disc in the center. Looks deep. Oh, and the mark got a huge piece of that.
Nikki Shires looking at that disc going, oh, did I throw that? And the energy just stepped up again. Maybe a little a defensive effort like that. The 1%ers is getting the energy going. Shuwei with the disc. Oh, that is a speculative throw.
Sonario with that block, and Boyle collecting it. Not enough time there. Puts it out at the front of Chung with the turnover.
Rage not taking advantage of this disc.
This point is a very long one, and it will be telling who comes away with it.
Oh, shoot.
What looked like a great shot from Mihash, looking to Shuhei in the end zone. Just couldn't reel that in.
Shuei's brought a lot of energy since coming on.
Rogue again on offense. Boyle with the disc. Finds Shires. Rosie Dawson looking for that one. Can she reel it in? Absolutely. It's World Games material. Spragg streaming. Dumps to Chung, nice and safe. And then Chung throws that one away. Again, that's that composure right up front of the end zone that we're looking for. I think it's this point, it's going a long time. People are getting tired. They want to close it out. They want to finish it. And that's a timeout.
Not surprised. They're got to be tired by now.
I'm most surprised that it wasn't called earlier, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
there's a strong, as much as 80% of on-field timeouts result in a turnover, copyright Max Houghton, the benefits of this timeout are definitely, you'll be able to see them. There's a mental benefit and there's a physical benefit. This point has been going for a long time. Players need a rest, but also a bit of calm, a bit of serenity will come out of this game, and these teams will look to come out and play calm, consistent, collected offense after this game. There's been a few too many easy turns, rushed throws, and that's what they're trying to eliminate with this mental break here.
Yeah, I wonder if it probably would have been less of a dangerous timeout to call if they called it when they were up on the short field, further upfield. I believe Bauhaus called the timeout after the turn.
Yeah, and so timeouts can be considered often that they would benefit the defense a bit because Bauhaus will come out, set up in whatever offensive structure they like, and then Rogue has an opportunity to set any defense they like, and so have all of their defensive players in exactly the right positions, which can benefit the defense. But we'll see what answers Bauhaus has to this Rogue defense.
I think bringing Shuei on was a really good move for them. They've looked a lot more dynamic since.
Shuhei most recently played for Australia on the Barramundis, the mixed team. Was playing a very disc-heavy role for them, doing a lot of throwing, and I think that's what they need.
And really, she was very close to bringing in that score with that upwind huck.
That really would have changed the game. However, here we are. Bauhaus setting up in what looks to be a horizontal stack.
I think with the length of the point, it's nearly glossed over now just how important it would be to get the break if Bauhaus did with the balance of the game. They'd bring it to 10-10.
It's basically essential for Rogue to get this block here, as they look. It's a match defense with some players poaching off a little bit. Shai's covering that deep shot. Dawson looking covering the unders here. Yep, it's a good 2-on-1 break.
Finding the space. Oh, hot catch there. Just getting ahead of the defender there for Andres. Shuei with another huck to the end zone. It's 2-on-1.
Shires has the read and the height. Rogue going the other way. Spragg with the disc. Looks for Chung, is a bit far around.
Sullivan again impacting with the a disc in the air. That's
and
their specialty.
That was a wind affected throw. That forehand sat up a little more because of the wind.
Another
Shires
huck.
with yet another block. Guarding that deep space well. She's tall. She's read the disc. Very experienced.
It didn't affect, so it's a stop it still, you check it, and then it's going to be back in. Be on 0. Should be on 0.
Comes in. Shires with the disc. Finds Boyle around. Scenario in the middle. Resets to Chung on the sideline. Sprague with a great gab. Sees Lamb deep. Where to read that disc at the last minute. Rogue knocking on the door here. Do they have the composure? Finds Dawson. Finds Shires for the reset. And Dawson for the goal.
Well, that's a big relief for them.
Yep. That is a really lets up the pressure on this Rogue team. They'll be coming out on defense, but they don't have to get it. If Bauhaus had scored that point, it'd be 10-10. And Rogue got an offensive chance, but now it's all right. Rogue's on defense. Bauhaus have to hold this offense, and then get a break to get back in the game. And time's running out. We've just passed 4:20, which takes us past the 80-minute mark.
Assuming both their previous games went to the 100 minutes, that's 280 minutes of play today.
It's a long, grueling day. 3 games in a day is a lot. And these players are showing remarkable strength to keep playing at this level after such a long time.
Yeah, a point that length would, you'd be feeling it.
Absolutely. And that's when it comes down to not only the physical, but the mental endurance to take those safe shots. Dawson held the disc out front of the end zone for a long time, looking for a nice safe dump.
Which Bauhaus maybe didn't do.
Indeed, Bauhaus had a couple of speculative shots, and that's at this level, you're not going to get away with that many.
Michelle Phillips with her hand up, marshalling this line.
Rock with the pull. Good to see her back. Just a match from Rogue here. Longley showing up pace, getting that block. Rogue got about half the field to go here. Shoots deep immediately. Sees welfare. Managed to take the grab, but it's a bit out of the field.
Big pressure from Michelle Phillips there. She wants the under. Doesn't realise that Parsons right behind her. Birchall looks long. Parsons, big contest.
Parsons managed to get up of Mish Phillips. Should be happy with that one.
Quality contest. And respect from Phillips with the high five.
Phillips is a fierce competitor. Yeah. Recognises the skill of Parsons there. Rock picking up the disc again. Rogue still with a full field to go, but another opportunity. Finds.
And it's picked off on the end zone line. And that's one way to do it.
Yep. And that's a hold from Bauhaus. A bit harder than it needed to be, but that's a hold. And we're back to an 11-10 game. Bauhaus needing to get a block, put it in, and then they're in with a shot.
Yeah, how do they call this line? Do they bring them on now? Do we just let a line just tick over?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know the Bauhaus subbing structure, and all of these players look really good, so I can't tell if they're shortening their lines.
Yeah.
However, Xu Hui, Mish Phillips not on the line, so this is not what I would assume their universe point looks like.
You'd assume.
Rogue doing the same. Looks like a fairly standard offense line coming out here. Sun's dipping in the sky a bit. The wind is still present, but it seems to have slackened off a bit. It's going to be interesting if any of their teams take the force the throws into the sun approach, blind the opposition.
Ooh. Yeah, That is becoming the option, an option.
It's a bit speculative. Birchall with a pull. Shires catches that. Finds Chung. Already past the brick mark. Finds Boyle back. Looking a bit stuck with his disc here. And throws that to traffic.
There's a call. Contest. Going foul contested. Having a discussion about that.
Retracted call. Still a check.
And that's retracted. It's good spirit. And we're coming back in. Bauhaus with the disc.
Loving that Maylin Chua, disc in hand. She sees the space. Chen brings it down. Great read from her. Mumford.
Dawson with a pace out front to snatch that away. Finds C. Finds Boyle. Finds Spragg. She's got Jones deep and she's sending that.
Again,
Just a bit
pushing
too
the
much
envelope.
pace.
Yeah, they're pushing the pace a little bit too much.
Yeah, interesting choice here as there's an injury call. Chung will be taking a sub.
Will Bauhaus take advantage of this again? They
Coming
tried
off
to last
under
time.
her own power, so that's good, but it doesn't look great. Parsons coming on. She'll be guarding that deep space.
That's a strong sub to be able to bring in.
And that's a short field turnover from Bauhaus. Rogue is picking up the disc here. Shires. Sends it long. And that's C in the end zone. Rogue holds her offense. Takes us out to a 12-10 game. Bauhaus unable to get the block and put it in like they were looking for here.
I'd love to be part of the Bauhaus huddle at the moment. What is their strategy? Well, how are they going to pull this break back, and when are they going to do it?
So they've been getting the blocks. They've been getting the turnovers. They've had a number of opportunities when Rogue has turned it over or shot it too long, but they just haven't been able to convert. It might be that they're gassed. It might be a bit of mental strength thing. It's often very difficult for your defensive line to work just to get a block and then have to do all of it again to get open on offense.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the instruction is there, whether they've identified that they are doing that, or whether that's just part of their game plan, just to go. But there's a lot of speculative throws going to contests, maybe not to open space.
Yeah, and Bauhaus are like quite an athletic team, but I don't know that that's what you want to be relying on at this stage of the game. Athleticism will take you a very long way, but I don't know if athleticism alone will take you to the championship. What we want to see is smart, controlled play from Bauhaus after they get this block. The next point, Bauhaus coming out on offense here as Shires has the pull.
Mehatch trying to find that disc underneath her feet there, finds Stevenson. To the open side to Baker. Shue in power position and takes advantage of that with the huck. Again, too much on it to Cortez.
Yeah, and I think that's the other end of the spectrum. If you don't want it to get caught by the wind, you don't want to put too much air under it, you throw it nice and flat, but then it's going real fast. Rock walking the disc up to the line here. Rogue with an opportunity to put the game nearly out of reach. Finds Parsons. Oh, and that's a block on a throw to Longley.
Run through Dean, and good time for it. Stop the momentum while they've still got the short field. Let's see where they go with this next. Hatch disc in hand. Looking downfield. Now she looks to her dump. Finds the swing. Seems wants to continue that movement, but not on. The space is there, though. To the end zone. Who's there?
And that's a Bauhaus goal.
Scores
Takes
to
us to
Mintan.
a 12-11 game. Rogue coming out on offense again. And here we haven't seen a lot of breaks. There's been a bunch of turnovers, but still the teams on offense have been fairly consistently converting.
No break for a long time now.
Not since before half, I think.
Which I don't really feel like the wind is a huge factor in that, so it's interesting that...
I think it's died down enough that, and the throwers have sort of gotten used to it, and of course they're very skilled players, so I think they've worked out that what they need to be doing and how they want to be throwing this and looking after the disc.
Bauhaus has another shot at the break, and again, same as the last few, pressure's off Rogue Rage. They want to score this point.
Yeah, but this is Rogue Rage will want to keep holding this and just keep doing the same thing. Hold their offense and just keep this little lead and ride it out to the end of the game. But Bauhaus here, this is their time. This is their opportunity, right? A break here takes them to 12-12. And that is a much better position than where they have been since half-time.
Yeah, especially we've got 5 minutes, or roughly, on the game clock.
Time's running out for Bauhaus to get a break. Phillips with a pull. O'Connor catches. Tennis to Chung. Chung finds Dawson. Both players been rock steady this game. Finds Jones. Finds C on that sideline. No mark at the moment. She's got theoretically infinite amount of time. Puts it out the front of Boyle. Great athletic bit. Can't make the catch as well. This is the chance that Bauhaus needed. They need to score here if they want to win this game.
Mumford's played a lot of downwind points, and here she is going upwind. Malenchua disc in hand now. Sano, Japanese addition to the team. Dumps it back, and now it's with Malenchua. Puts it to the space. To Michelle Phillips, and that's the break.
That is what they needed. A long shot before, not having a lot of success, but Michelle Phillips is one of the best receivers this country has ever seen. And now, with a 12-12 and a tie game, Rowe coming out on offense.
And the energy on the field is definitely up.
Bauhaus are in it, and they know it. Rowe looking a little bit deflated here, but we'll see how their mental strength takes them through the end.
We finally saw a huck probably to the advantage floating in front of the to the receiver, and that makes it a totally different look. It's a totally different game in that circumstance.
Yeah, and that's one of the difficult things to do today. It's just float them out there and give your receiver time to make a play. It's just a lot of these wind-affected throws are either being pushed down or popped up, and that's really depends on the edge and the thrower themselves. But they've done well. They've done well here, and this is it. Now the pressure's on Rogue Rage here. They haven't felt this sort of pressure in a number of points. It's always been, it doesn't matter because, you know, we've got this little bit of a lead. But now, if they don't score this offense here, they're behind for the first time in this game. Four minutes left to go. Hatch through the pool. That's a good looking one. Called by Shires to Rock. Back to Shires in the middle. Both teams seem to have shelved the zone, just playing match here. Shies with the disc still. It's probably an uncontested. Bit of chat, bit of catch up. It's all right.
Keep it
Shies
social.
finds Spragg. She's got Lambdeed. Holsters it. Good safe play. Dumps to Shies. Nice forward roll. Looks over the top. Oh, Parsons with a great snatch. Back to Spragg. Finds Dawson coming under. Dumps to Shies. Goes around to Spragg. Spragg threatening that inside every time. Looks long, and there's Jones in the end zone. That's a good offensive hold from Rogue, taking their time. And that's 13-12.
Well, that end, which just seemed unscorable for a good 7 or 8 points there, seems it gets 2 in a row. So that really showing that the wind has become, well, less of a factor.
Yeah, and the wind itself has changed only a little bit, but I think the teams and the throwers are adjusting a lot better. And teams are realizing that there's not going to be a lot of easy options coming here. They're going to have to work for every one of them. Bauhaus offense here is going to look to hold to bring it back to a tie game. And you can feel it. You can feel the pressure building here. Rogue looking that if they want to get a break, it's got to be now. A lot of players huddling around the line. I don't think that speaks to the rage. Speaks to the team name and the ethos of the club. Get around your girls. Bauhaus. Stoic, ready on the line.
Stoic, very underused word these days.
That's what you want to be. You absolutely want to be a stoic. You want to be quiet, silent, just doing your thing, playing your offense.
That's the Oxford definition.
Spragg with the pull.
And it's a long way out.
And that's a brick. I think that was a different edge to what she was expecting, but that'll give Bauhaus the disc on the brick mark, and they're in a side stack here. Rogue just playing match D.
Gear bring that in from the brick mark. Tony Cox getting very close for that that dish. Gets it back to Gear. Close again. Phillips on the sideline. It's a crowded underzone. Gets the break off. Swing, and we're onto the upwind side. 10 with the disc. To Gear. It's fairly stagnant downfield, so she's gone back to 10. Fansano. There's a pick call.
Chung taking the opportunity to catch up, recognizing she wouldn't have got that disc.
So that means the disc will stay with Cox. Disc with Sano. Gear with a big fake, which definitely sold the defender. She was backing off. Cox. This is safe play. To the space, and there's the score.
And that's good. That is good. That is patient. It took a long time and a lot of throws, but you can do that as much as you like. Bauhaus bring it back to a tie game. It's 13-13 again.
Yeah, I think it's the movement downfield. They looked like they had a lot more room to cut into down the line, and that type of movement there just seemed space on the field.
There's a bit of discussion here going on about what's to happen. It's a very tight game, and this one's coming down to the wire.
Now, I'm not exactly sure, but I believe the conversation on the field is about the time cap, which should have gone, just there's no buzzer.
Yes, we're at 103 minutes now. And coaches and captains will decide. One of the great things about a self-refereed game is that even when there's things like this, sort of, well, we're not quite sure what's going on, as long as the captains can come to an agreement about what should happen, then it generally could go.
Maybe the discussion is whether that point was played after the siren went anyway.
Yeah, so the standing rule is that the buzzer will go and we'll finish the point and then add one to the highest score and play to that. So if the buzzer were to go right now, we'd finish this point. So someone would be on 14 and then we would play a game to 15. And I think the discussion is that, as is very likely, that time cap went during the end of this point, and the Usain Bolt signal is that this is game point. At a 13-13, game 14.
That's a new signal to me.
And yeah, this is match point. It's the signal coming out from the game advisors. This is match point. It's 13-13, game to 14. And this is when you'll see those best lines. I think the teams will put on their stronger 7 here, quite likely. Well, Bauhaus doesn't look like they've changed up anything, just playing their regular line. Rogue definitely seem to have stacked their line. They are coming out on offense here.
Well, okay.
That's pretty weak. And the pool goes up, and we're here on this universe point. Rock catches the pool. Centers to Shires. Dumpster Rock. Finds Shires with a floaty around. Shires looks long. That's a floaty disc. And Phillips gets a hand on that, gets the block.
Phillips flying through. I knew she would appear from somewhere. I couldn't see her until she launched herself in the air.
She is tall and athletic and will get those blocks. Bauhaus with a chance to take the game.
Birchall with the disc. Moves it to the center. Stevenson back to Birchall. Finds Cortez. Saw count must be getting up there, but Baker finds the disc. Finds the space to Phillips. Through the center to Stevenson. Looking composed so far. Maylin Chua. Looks down the line, decides against it. Finds Birchall. And it's the big throw. And Maybe the defender.
See, just enough of a hand on that to disrupt the catch, and that is right out front of the end zone. That is a timely block. Rogue going again. Shies with the disc. Finds Dawson in that open lane. He's going to play it deep. Looks off that shot. Goes backwards. Finds Shires. Looking deep again. Decides against it. Smart. Parsons unmarked in the dump space. Back to Shires. Running this through her quite heavily. And there's a pick in the stack. Shies with the disc again. Rogue on the move. Spragg takes a high grab. Sees C deep and floats it to a pack. Bella C juggles that one.
And another shot for
Rogue on
Bauhaus.
defense.
Birchall very close to that sideline. Spragg on the mark.
Gets a piece of that, but it's completed.
Sullivan with the disc. She usually finds herself downfield. This is an unfamiliar position for her. To Baker. Brave hands in traffic. Malin Chua wants to move across field. Comes back to Cortez. Forced to the close sideline. She's down on one hand and still gets the throw off. That's creative. Big throw is up and it's pulled down, and that's the win to Bauhaus.
Amazing. Bauhaus gets 2 blocks on Universe points and manages to complete one of them, despite being ahead almost the entire game. Rogue goes down.
Gee, that's
14-13.
2 Universe point losses for Rogue today.
They've been having a very difficult day, but that was a quality match. Really went down to the team that could stick it out and keep gunning it through right to the end.
Gee. I love that, and we've seen some quality play here today. I'm sure we're going to see some more tomorrow. Stick with us for further streams. Thanks, Rob Swan. Joining me, my name's Stephen Van Boxtel.
It's been my pleasure. We hope to see you more for the next 3 days of Australian Ultimate Championships here on the Gold Coast.
Looking forward to it. This stream brought to you by Ultimate Australia.
They said they were up like 12-6 or something, and then GWS went and scored 13-12.
Yeah, they got like 5-6 in a row. They're down like 2 of their really strong